Peter Linenthal is going to speak next.
Hello. I've been collecting Kushan coins for about 20 years. I was first attracted to them because they were both familiar, because they had a ruler on one side and a deity on the other, but they seemed unfamiliar at the same time. They seemed Eastern or maybe Asian in a way that I couldn't quite put my finger on. Then my collecting went on for some years, and I purchased this coin, which has King Kanishka obverse and a Buddha reverse. And when I got this coin, things changed for me. I felt that I owned a piece of world history that was really significant. I'm just remembering the Gold of Bactria show was on display at our Asian museum, and I offered it to them to include in the show, quickly learning that the show was really a package put together by National Geographic, and so including something from a private collector was out of the question. I think this is a piece of world history because it was made in a broad period when Buddhism was transforming from really a small sect for people who had retreated from life into a practice that anybody can join, which was part of its emergence eventually as a world religion. And I also was fascinated because it fused Greek, Indian, and Iranian cultures, opening a window onto a huge debate on which element is most important in Gandhara. But on this particular coin, there's a mystery that I'll get back to later. Typically, on coins of Kanishka, the king is making an offering at a small Iranian-style altar that always looks to me like a spool of thread. But on this coin, that altar is missing. Joe Cribb has examined the coin and determined that, it was not erased from the coin, but that's the way it was on the die. And among the many Kanishka dies for these Buddha coins, there's only one where the altar is missing. I've seen a couple other examples. Also, from Joe, I learned that the Buddha coins come late in Kanishka's rule, which is from 127 to 151 CE, and that the Buddha coins are only 1.35% of the entire coinage of Kanishka, so they're a very small emission. And there's a number of theories about why this was such a small emission. One possibility is that it commemorates the calling of a fourth Buddhist council in Kashmir that Kanishka is credited with calling. Another possibility is that it commemorates the construction of a huge stupa by Kanishka that was one of the wonders of the world for hundreds of years until the 7th or 8th century. It seems to me another thing that this absent altar calls to mind is that it was unusual to include Buddha in a larger pantheon of mostly Iranian, some Greco-Roman, and some Indian deities on these Kushan coins. So it seems, although it seems most likely that the emission of the altar was simply a mistake of the engraver, it seems possible that the engraver or whoever was supervising him had a problem with having an Iranian altar present in a coin that was celebrating the Buddha. We just don't know. I'd like to point out the most comprehensive article on these Buddha coins so far is Joe Cribb's article in Silk Road Art and Archaeology 6. But we're looking forward to his forthcoming catalog of Kushan coins from the British Museum. Just for anyone interested at all in Kushan coinage, I just want to point out David Jongward's recent book, The Kushan Mystique, which is published by Spink, and it's a wonderful introduction to the world of Kushan coinage. It's a personal memoir, but it's also full of information that would appeal to the heavy-duty numismatist. I'm a children's book illustrator, and I was inspired by this coin to write what I think is the first children's book that takes place in the Kushan kingdom, Jaya's Golden Necklace, which revolves around the story of a little girl whose mother is Indian and father is Greek, who's commissioned by the king to make the first Buddha coin. And there's back matter all about the Kushans. Another project I'm working on, I've also collected antiquities connected to the Kushans, and I'm working on a catalog with archaeologist Ulf Jaeger. Joe Cribb will contribute a chapter on coins, and that catalog will be finished this year, and we're going to call it the Kushan Connection, because for me, this coin opened up a world into ancient Asia. That's it.
Thank you, Peter.